Hello, this is Professor Ruck, and I will be taking you through this fireside chat, this tour of Chapter 3, Lesson 3, titled Biopsychology. Okay, so while much of psychology has to do with intangible or non-physical things, like dreams, thoughts, emotions, and imagination, Chapter 3 discusses the tangible or physical parts of psychology, like the brain, spinal cord, and biochemicals. Here we have a picture of that, where scientists can use brain scans to measure activity in the parts of the brain, and then use that information to predict behavior, mood, and disorders of the mind. Okay, so where does it all begin? One could say right here in our genes. By studying genetics, we learn about human traits such as the shape of blood cells and how that affects health, as in the picture. And the study of genetics tells us much more. It can tell us about genes for psychological traits such as personality and intelligence. Of the 25,000 or so genes in the human genome, it is thought that about 50% of them contribute to our psychological makeup. Next up is a look at the cells of the nervous system and the biochemicals that create activity and functionality between the cells. The structure and function of the neuron can tell us many things about psychological topics such as addiction, athletic performance, and disease. This is especially true of our biochemicals called neurotransmitters. The activity of neurotransmitters informs us not only about health psychology, but also about disorders of the body and mind. Then you will learn about the nervous system on a larger scale. For example, there are two subsystems within the nervous system. One is the parasympathetic, and the other is the sympathetic nervous system. Each has specific functions that allow us to behave in certain ways during calm and tense situations. When we are stressed out, the sympathetic system elevates heart rate and breathing capacity, getting us ready to deal with the stressor. Alternatively, the parasympathetic system calms us and returns our organ function to normal levels after the stressor has passed. Next is the section on the brain and spinal cord. These two vital organs contain elements that make us uniquely human. Our ability to understand things like math, art, morality, and the distant future is made possible by the cerebral cortex. Other features of the brain get less attention, but are no less important to our daily function. For example, the cerebellum acts to maintain our balance and keep our heart beating without conscious effort. Our brain is our control center. It keeps us on task in the present while allowing us to plan for the future and remember the past. Science has developed many ways to monitor brain activity, and you will learn about those in the brain imaging section. Scientists can study deep brain activity, as in the picture, using various deep scanning technologies. They can also study surface activity, as in this picture, using electroencephalography. The many receivers in the headset allow researchers to link specific activities to areas of the brain, such as language use in the temporal lobe or visual processing in the occipital lobe. And the last section of Chapter 3 discusses the endocrine system. This is a system of organs and biochemicals that influence our emotions, reaction time, and coordination. For example, cortisol is a stress hormone that is released in times of danger or highly emotional events. A little cortisol in the system is good because it can produce our peak performances, both physically and mentally. However, too much cortisol, as in a constantly stressful lifestyle, may result in physical problems such as irregular heartbeat, ulcers, and headaches. That concludes the introductory fireside chat for Chapter 3. I hope you have heard something to spark your interest in the fascinating area of biopsychology. Please read the chapter and then continue on with other information and activities in the website.